Putin's response to Trump's claim is a massive aerial attack on Kyiv, lasting an entire day. Ukrainians were left sleepless after late-night bombing, followed by fresh strikes through the afternoon and evening. After the CIA chief's Russia trip, is Ukraine now paying the price for Trump's bold claims? Kyiv faced an hours-long assault involving ballistic and cruise missiles, along with fast-moving jet-powered drones. Blasts began around 3 a.m. and drones continued through the day. Is Russia preparing for a final assault? Kyiv residents were forced to shelter inside metro stations during a rare all-day Russian aerial attack, as the capital remained under threat for hours. Explosions in Kyiv began around 3 a.m. on August 27 and continued into the morning, according to the Kyiv Independent, keeping residents on alert through the night. Russia targeted Kyiv with jet-powered drones, while powerful blasts and the sound of Ukrainian air defense fire could be heard across the city. Drone debris was found across several Kyiv districts, including Podilsky, Shevchenkivsky, Holosyevsky and Pechersky, according to local reports. The attack also damaged 2 schools and a sports facility, while a fire was reported near the Valerii Lobanovskyi Stadium amid the continuing strikes. Russia also struck warehouses in Kyiv Oblast, injuring at least 1 person, according to Ukraine's State Emergency Service. After midday, another drone fell onto a major road in Kyiv's Holosyevsky district, according to Kyiv Mayor Vitaly Klitschko. The latest assault came just days after Russia struck a shopping center in Kryvyi Rih, killing at least 16 people in another deadly attack. The strikes also came days after Trump's CIA chief traveled to Russia, reportedly for discussions involving Ukraine and Iran. The real purpose behind CIA Director John Ratcliffe's surprise Russia visit appears to have been revealed through U.S. media reports. According to the Wall Street Journal, Trump's intelligence chief traveled to Moscow to warn Russia against launching an attack on any NATO member state. The visit followed U.S. intelligence assessments suggesting that Putin could attempt a limited assault to test NATO's collective resolve. Those assessments indicated that a potential Russian move could come within the next few years, with some concerns focusing on the possibility of escalation as early as this fall. A possible Russian operation could range from a major cyber attack to a small-scale military incursion, rather than an immediate full-scale war with NATO. Reports suggest that any such action could involve one of NATO's Baltic member states, located on Russia's northwestern frontier. Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania are seen as the most vulnerable potential flashpoints, given their geography, proximity to Russia, and central role in NATO's eastern defenses. Moscow has repeatedly threatened Western governments backing Ukraine, portraying their military assistance to Kyiv as direct involvement in the war. Under NATO's Article 5 principle, an armed attack against one alliance member is considered an attack against every member, meaning a strike on a Baltic state could trigger a collective response. U.S. officials are also reportedly concerned that Western ammunition shortages caused by the Iran war may influence Putin's calculations about NATO's ability to respond quickly. During his Moscow visit, Ratcliffe also urged Russian officials to reduce their military and economic support for Iran, including transfers of weapons and defense technology. U.S. President Donald Trump has finally addressed CIA Chief John Ratcliffe's visit to Moscow on August 25, amid growing speculation over the secretive trip. The U.S. President spoke to the New York Post about why John Ratcliffe made the surprise visit to Moscow and what it was meant to achieve. Trump was asked whether Ratcliffe's visit was linked to ongoing Russia-UK tensions or whether the CIA chief discussed Iran-related issues. Trump hinted that Ratcliffe's Moscow visit instead revolved around efforts to reach a peace deal and end the Russia-Ukraine war. The U.S. president said, and I quote, "Well, none of the above. He's there, on very sort of semi-routine. I hate to disappoint people. We would like to see the war with Ukraine end. That's a war that would have never started. If I were president, you wouldn't have had the war with Ukraine, and you wouldn't have had 25 million people coming into our country like they did. Just come in like we were a bunch of fools. It was so sad. John Ratcliffe is a fantastic guy. He's the head of the CIA, and he is not in there for any of the things that you said. Now something may come out, out of it. We're working very hard to get that war ended, and frankly, they both want to see it ended at this point." End quote. On August 25, CIA Director John Ratcliffe made a surprise visit to Moscow to meet with Russian intelligence officials, according to reports. Ratcliffe's visit marks the first known trip by a CIA chief since 2021, before the Russia-Ukraine war began and tensions dramatically escalated. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov, on August 26, confirmed that Russian President Vladimir Putin did not meet with Ratcliffe during the visit. Explosions rocked Kyiv overnight on August 22 as Russia launched a fresh attack on the Ukrainian capital, according to local authorities. Several blasts were heard minutes after an air raid alert was issued, while a warehouse caught fire in Kyiv's Donetsk district. One person was killed and several others were injured, just 2 days after another Russian attack killed 15 people in Kyiv. In Kryvyi Rih, a Russian drone strike killed 16 people and injured 130 others, including 23 children, according to Ukrainian officials. Zelensky said drones struck a shopping center in 2 separate waves, describing the attack as a deliberate double-tap strike. The second strike allegedly came while rescuers were already at the scene, raising concerns that emergency teams were also put at risk. A Ukrainian official said a jet-powered Shard-type drone was used in the attack and flew at an extremely low altitude. 29 people were seriously injured, including 5 children, as flames engulfed the shopping center, according to reports.
Шановні українці, українки, зараз в Кривому Розі рятувальна операція після удару по торговельному центру. Сили залучені, всі необхідні. На жаль, багато людей постраждали. Був удар кількох російських дронів, цілеспрямований, підлий, один за одним. На зараз відомо вже про 14 загиблих. Мої співчуття рідним та близьким. Більше 100 людей поранені. Відомо, що серед них 11 дітей. З'ясовують інформацію про всіх, хто міг бути в цьому торговельному центрі. Абсолютне звірство росіян. Просто тварі. Обов'язково відповімо. Важливо, щоб було все для захисту життя. Важливо, щоб світ не мовчав про це все. Повинна бути крапка в цій російській війні. І треба, щоб світ із цим нам допомагав. Дякую тим, хто з Україною. Кожному дякуємо, хто зараз допомагає людям у Кривому Розі, там на місці, в інших наших містах і громадах. Вічна пам'ять усім загиблим від російського терору.
The Russian government said on August 20th that its forces had captured 2 settlements in Donetsk over the previous 24 hours, claiming fresh gains along the front line. Russian battle group units reportedly captured the settlements of Nikolai Poli and Matyashevo in Donetsk, according to the state-run TASS news agency. Statement by Russia's defense ministry read, and I quote, "Battle Group South units liberated the settlement of Nikolai Poli in the Donetsk People's Republic through active operations. Battle Group Center units liberated the settlement of Matyashevo in the Donetsk People's Republic through decisive operations." Unquote. The reported advances came as Russian forces continued offensive operations across several Ukrainian frontlines, maintaining pressure on Kyiv's positions. Russia also claimed Ukrainian forces suffered around 1,390 casualties across the front line during the 24-hour period, according to Moscow's latest battlefield assessment. Moscow said Battle Group Center alone accounted for more than 370 Ukrainian casualties in its area of operations during the same period. Russia also claimed Battle Group East inflicted more than 320 casualties as its troops advanced deeper into Ukrainian positions, according to TASS. Moscow said its forces also struck Ukrainian fuel and energy facilities, transport infrastructure, and storage sites for unmanned aerial vehicles. Russia additionally claimed its air defenses intercepted 1,504 Ukrainian drones and 11 guided aerial bombs within a single 24-hour period.
Upgrade your news experience with the all-new HT app. Download now.